You ever see someone lose it in broad daylight and think, no way, this is actually happening? Yeah, that happened. Right in the middle of a quiet suburban street. You know, the kind where birds chirp on Saturday mornings, and the worst thing you expect is a neighbor mowing the lawn too early. But this was chaos. It started with Karen. Yeah, that Karen. She kicked a baby stroller. Straight up, full on, like it was nothing. And the kicker? She immediately screamed that the stroller had attacked her. No joke. The metal wheels scraped concrete. A shriek split the air. And every head in the cul-de-sac shot up. One woman froze on her porch, coffee trembling in her hand. Inside that stroller, a 6-month-old baby, fast asleep a second ago, jolted forward with a muffled cry that made your stomach drop. The mother, Lily, let out this guttural, panicked sound that stopped you mid-breath. "You monster, what is wrong with you?" Her voice cracked, tears spilling as she grabbed the stroller like it was life itself. The baby cried harder, helpless and raw, the kind of sound that makes blood boil just hearing it. Karen, totally unbothered, clutched her knee like she'd been attacked by a freight train and yelled, "That stroller rammed me. I've been assaulted." Her voice cut across the street like a siren, and for a second, you almost thought she was auditioning for some twisted theater. Nobody moved. The disbelief was thick. You could practically taste it. Then, someone shouted from across the street, "Are you insane?" Dogs barked, neighbors murmured, and Karen staggered theatrically, grabbing a tree branch. "That baby, it's a weapon." Weapon. She actually said that. About a baby. The tension flipped instantly. Nervous laughter from a teen recording it all on his phone turned into anger as neighbors closed in. "Call the cops." She kicked the stroller. I saw it. Voices overlapping, all chaos and fury. Lily's hands shook as she checked her child. Relief hit when she saw the baby was okay. Kicking, moving, still alive, but it was relief laced with fire. Karen wasn't done. She flailed in the street, shrieking, "No! Arrest her! She endangered me with that stroller." Tires squealed down the block, and a patrol car rolled in faster than anyone expected. Someone had called 911 in that first split second, and now it was about to get real. 2 officers stepped out, one tall and calm, the other younger, hand already brushing his radio. Their eyes darted between Lily and her baby, and Karen, who immediately threw herself on the ground with a dramatic thud. "My knee, my spine. I've been attacked," she screamed, pointing at Lily. Silence. Then whispers sharp as knives cut through the crowd. "She's lying. She kicked it. I swear I saw it." Phones lifted everywhere, shaky footage capturing every second. The taller officer knelt near the stroller, asking Lily, voice gentle but firm, "Is your child okay?" Her reply broke into sobs. "She kicked him. She could have hurt his head. What kind of monster?" Karen cranked the theater up another notch. Rolling on the pavement. "Check the footage. The stroller hit me first. Vehicular assault." Gasps and groans swept the crowd. "You're serious? That's a baby," someone yelled. Then the twist. A teen stepped forward, phone held high like evidence in a courtroom. "I got it all, start to finish. Want to see?" Karen froze. For the first time, the mask cracked. Her eyes flickered, mouth opening. Without a sound, the officer took the phone, watched, and in seconds, everything changed. "Get her up," the taller cop said. The younger officer moved in. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for assault." Karen's face went from shock to hysteria. "What? They're framing me." She scrambled, thrashed, screaming into the afternoon. "That baby isn't even real. It's a doll." The crowd erupted, laughter, mixed with disbelief. The infant in Lily's arms wailed louder at the commotion. Lily held her child tightly, eyes burning. "You could have killed my baby, and you're calling her a doll?" Her voice trembled with rage. No hesitation. Karen was cuffed on the asphalt, her screams echoing as more neighbors lifted phones, capturing every moment. But here's the part nobody saw coming. Mr. Harlan, Lily's elderly neighbor, the quiet man who rarely spoke above a whisper, stepped forward. "I told you she'd snap one day," he said, voice cutting through the chaos. "She's been harassing folks around here for months. Last week, she threw rocks at my granddaughter's bike." Whispers rippled like wildfire. Suddenly, it all clicked. The shouting matches, obsessive complaints, neighborhood tension. Karen wasn't just having a meltdown. She'd been spiraling for months, maybe years. Karma showed up, pinned her against the squad car. She thrashed, screamed, but it sounded empty, powerless. The taller officer turned to Lily. "We'll need your statement, ma'am. EMS should check the baby, just in case." Lily nodded, still clutching her child, voice quiet. "Thank you for not believing her lies." The crowd thinned, shaking heads, muttering disbelief. The drama had ended, but the aftertaste lingered, relief mixed with bitter satisfaction. Karen, shoved into the back seat, face twisted in rage, eyes betraying fear, the kind that hits when the performance is over and truth finally wins. She thought she could gaslight an entire neighborhood, twist a violent act against a baby into her own victim card. But cameras, witnesses, the audacity of her lies, it all backfired spectacularly. And the image that stayed with everyone wasn't Karen, screaming or flailing. It was Lily, rocking her baby, whispering soft words to calm her, as the police car drove away. Quiet justice, fading sirens, heavy silence. Karen wanted to play victim, but the universe had other plans. The ending was written the moment she kicked that stroller. Because sometimes, karma doesn't just knock, you get pinned in broad daylight. If you've ever seen someone cross the line and get exactly what they deserved, or if you've had a neighbor from hell, drop a comment below. Tell me, where would you draw the line? Who's really in the wrong here? But here's the thing. You'd think after all that, the street would just settle back into its sleepy Saturday rhythm, right? Nope, not that day. Not with Karen. She'd been dragged into the squad car, screaming and clawing at the cuffs, but as the doors slammed, something shifted in the crowd. Whispers turned into chatter, heads started nodding at each other, little alliances forming as people shared what they'd seen over weeks, months, little incidents that suddenly made sense. That wasn't just a meltdown, that was a pattern. From petty arguments over lawn decorations to full-on screaming. Matches over nothing. Karen had been turning the neighborhood into her personal stage. And now, karma wasn't just knocking. It was sitting at the front row with popcorn. Lily, still clutching her baby, sank onto the curb, letting the adrenaline drain. Her breaths came sharp and ragged. But there was this quiet strength in her eyes, the kind that makes people stop and realize she wasn't just a victim here. She was the one who stood up. And the baby, oblivious to the chaos it had survived, wiggled and gurgled, tiny hands reaching out for comfort. Then, out of nowhere, a neighbor jogged up. "Hey, did anyone else see? She wasn't even touching the baby directly, right?" His voice trailed off, uncertainty creeping in. The teen with the phone shook his head vigorously. "No, she kicked the stroller. Every second. I got it all on camera. Look at this." The footage played again on his screen, the clear, undeniable proof of Karen's actions. Gasps circled, murmurs of shock, and relief weaving through the crowd. And that's when the subtwist hit. Mr. Harlan, the old neighbor, stepped closer to Lily, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "I tried warning folks. She's been escalating. But that's not the worst part. There's another family she's been targeting, a quiet one on Elm Street. She's obsessive. You're lucky she picked you this time." Lily's stomach dropped. She glanced at her baby and then around the cul-de-sac. This was bigger than she thought. Not just Karen's rage, but the pattern of manipulation, the way she'd been testing. And late-night yelling matches that had seemed trivial at the time, but now, with context, painted a picture of escalating danger. Meanwhile, Karen's screams had faded, replaced by the faint hum of the patrol car engine and the murmurs of the community processing everything. Lily hugged her baby tightly, rocking back and forth, whispering words of comfort. She looked around at neighbors who had once been strangers, now allies, united by witnessing a line being crossed and having the courage to stand together. And in that moment, the lesson hit like a bolt. Karma doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't sneak in the dark. Sometimes, it arrives with sirens, witnesses, and the quiet realization that the people around you won't just let things slide. As the crowd began to disperse, one teen muttered, almost to himself. She thought she could control everyone, twist the story, make herself the victim. But she forgot one thing. We were watching. And it was true. Cameras, phones, attentive eyes. They all became the armor Lily and the neighborhood needed. The last image lingered. Lily, baby safe in her arms, neighbors exchanging knowing glances, and Karen. Justice gets tested.